Let's consider some of the chains that have been locking us from realizing our potential, both as an individual and as a country. Chains have widely been understood to be symbols of physical confinement, restraints, especially as pertaining to different contexts. Chains, in other terms, can also refer to limitations. Okay, try to imagine yourself operating with chains in your mind. Will you ever achieve your full potential? Some of these chains have been imposed on us. Some of them we've imposed on ourselves throughout generations until they've become the norm. Let's consider the first chain, mathematics. We cannot ignore the simple basic fact that mathematics is and will be one of the greatest exercises for our brain muscles, as indeed it has been at the core of any career choice that we make. Mathematics literacy do drive economies. Countries that invest in mathematics education do see a rise in human capital, fostering innovation and competitiveness by enabling complex problem solving, driving growth in key sectors like finance and technology. Indeed, a mathematically literate workforce makes the country more competitive in the global stage. Taking into consideration that it's one of the most failed subjects at secondary level in our country, where around 20% do achieve the minimum competency level, then you can imagine how many ambitions it has killed in people. With all the benefits that a mathematics literate environment enjoys, to us it's a chain, limiting us from the very essence of life, which is to create and to be innovative. This is what makes me mad, and if I don't speak about it, I don't think anyone else will speak about it, because I've been to both extremes when it comes to failing in mathematics and when it comes to succeeding in mathematics. I've tested what a bad mathematics environment looks like and what a good mathematics environment looks like. And now my sole mission being to spearhead a better and best mathematics environment. The main reason for my work. I am very proud of myself that I showed up to my dreams. The reason as to why it had to be the grade A for me in mathematics is because of my love for mathematics as a subject. No situation in my life has managed to break that. I'm also very proud of myself that I pursued Aga Khan schools, and especially the high school in Mombasa, the very place I was told boldly that to even be considered to teach mathematics there, I needed to have the grade A in the subject. At one time, I had to return my application letter in my bag after being told it will go nowhere. I took it positively and quickly shifted from making ordinary efforts to making extraordinary efforts. I shifted from a CV to a personal professional brand because I knew for a fact that the CV could never speak of me beyond the qualifications to the person I was becoming, especially as pertaining to leadership and motivation in the context of the mathematics environment of my country, Kenya. Over the years, I've had to create my own experiences just to keep my mathematics momentum going. I've been challenging, and I will still challenge, the very method of teaching mathematics that I call the cursory form of teaching that has been so rampant in our country, which does more harm than good. We tend to rush to complete the syllabus with little to no attention to detail, only to end up leading learners to lose interest in participating in mathematics activities and then failing for the better part of their secondary schooling years, only to engage in rigorous revision prior to the final exam. By then, so many learners will have been left behind and will never catch up. Where is the passion for teaching mathematics? Well, I know where that passion is lying, totally unused. This work was mainly for the passionate ones like myself. I heard a story of a girl in the year 2018 from Star of the Sea Secondary School. This girl had the grade A in mathematics, but then she was contemplating repeating because she had managed the overall meaning grade of C. This is a girl who could have straight away gone on to major in mathematics and could have made a very good mathematics teacher maybe. But then guess what? Someone somewhere is teaching mathematics who managed to get the grade C plus in mathematics and a mean grade of C plus. This one qualified. Let's be pragmatic for once. Given an opportunity, who among the two could you have invested in as far as the mathematics environment is concerned? Indeed, there is a reason as to why I use these words in the board that I carried for my work. First, I used the words passion, energy, the love for mathematics, and the ability to inspire. This is when I was talking about beautifying the mathematics environment of my country, Kenya. And then later, when I captured my brand as a whole, I repeated the words passion and energy, and then I added creativity and uniqueness. I did not just put these words there. I strategically picked them because they define me as a person and my vision for the mathematics environment of my country, Kenya. To sum this up, let me say this. If I could fail in mathematics, like many have over the years, but then manage to do the required, I am of the belief that many can rise because I managed to rise over the years. We can always do better. The second chain, I call it the box, degrees and qualifications. There is this phrase that says that innovation is on the other side of qualifications. Am I here to say that degrees and qualifications are bad? No. I read somewhere that qualifications demonstrate a structured learning process and an ability to retain knowledge over time. But then, in addition to the phrase, it went on to suggest that formal qualifications may sometimes hinder creative breakthroughs and that true innovation requires moving beyond the established knowledge and methods that qualifications represent. While qualifications provide a critical foundation of knowledge, they can promote rigid thinking and discourage the risk-taking that radical innovation demands. You see, there are three sides to a degree. Number one, the left side of the degree. I call it the unqualified. These are people who did not meet the minimum entry level to joining a university. But so many factors could have played a big role in this. Maybe even some might be able differently. Some could possess latent talents that cannot be captured or tapped by the system. Nobody is born a failure. We are all born to fulfill a purpose in our lives. Number two, the qualified. These are the people who achieved the minimum entry level for university education and went on to get their degrees in specific fields. Number three, the right side of the degree, those who dropped out. This you can understand better when you consider my 4-part series of why I dropped out of University of Nairobi. This is where innovation resides. You will never get here if you are a person who makes average efforts. Consider this. I had been to a school and soonest I introduced myself to the principal, she asked me, "Do you have a degree?" The moment I said no, she told me we cannot have a conversation, and I left. While at Shimolatio Boys High School, I had to bury my creativity just to fit in, all because of the degree issue. I couldn't get lessons assigned to me directly, even though I declared that I was building myself as a brand with solutions in the mathematics environment of my country, Kenya, that is primary and secondary mathematics. How else could I have amassed solutions in the field of mathematics if I did not get the chance to interact with learners in a classroom setup, get to put into use what I had been learning over the years as I packaged myself? And it's not that I was a stranger in the educational environment of my country, Kenya. I had a TSC number 2, which meant that I was bound to operate under the code of conduct of teachers in my country. While at the Teachers Service Commission Quality Assurance Department, the idea was, from what we can see, you are only liable to be employed in a primary school setup. But then, I was not there to seek employment. I was there to make it known to them what exactly I was doing on the ground and what I needed to do on the ground as I packaged myself as a brand. While at the Ministry of Education headquarters in Jogo House, the question was, why do you want to motivate learners while yourself you dropped out of university and we want our students to go to university? Where else could I go after all these misunderstandings? The reason as to why I had to do my work. Let me say this. I have been to the three sides of a degree. I know how it feels not to qualify, but then I also know the qualities that such people possess. I know how it feels to qualify and to pursue a degree, but then I also know the triggers that can make one to drop out of university. The pursuit of purpose, exactly what I did. But I still have one problem with qualifications though. We do not qualify based on the fact that we are aiming to be the best in the area. We qualify based on the minimums, and that is why you find that most people only attain the minimum qualification grades. No wonder there is mediocrity of all manner of kinds. People get degrees and then pack. We won't get anywhere with average efforts. It's Denzel Washington who said, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. No wonder degrees will become chains, especially when you consider them as standards to get into a leadership position, and yet leadership in itself is none of that, culminating in rigid thinking that destroys the innovative spirit. The degree only becomes a limitation when you end up jobless and the only thing that you knew and sacrificed for is its attainment. You are now stuck in no job land. The degree has chained you. I don't think there is anyone that has been told that he does not qualify like myself in this country. I've literally lost count. But then, I've managed to jump over those hurdles over the years with focus and determination. Let me say this. If at all I did not qualify, who put me there? Is it not the very system that took me to a secondary school that I did not want to join back in the year 2004? Is it not the very system that gave us the so-called qualified teachers who enabled us to get the grades that we got in mathematics? I'm still left with one hurdle to jump over, and the toughest one in my life. The rigid thinking in my country that has rendered me a nobody for so many years to this very day that I'm sharing this. But then, let me say this. Unless and until you understand the mathematics environment that I've managed to rise from in my country, you will never understand the price I had to pay to get to where I'm at right now. You will never understand the level of commitment it has taken for me to rise. You will never understand the sacrifices I've had to make, and because of that, you will never acknowledge my efforts. Let me briefly share with you the kind of mathematics environment that I've had to rise from over the years. Consider the general grading system of my country, Kenya. In the year 2007, we were 70 candidates who sat for the KCSE exam in a two-stream provincial secondary school at that time by the name Mwakitawa, where 35 boys formed the East Stream and 35 girls formed the West Stream. In that year, the best grade in mathematics was a D+, and myself, I managed the grade D-. So our mathematics environment comprised of more than 97% operating below the minimum competency level in mathematics. And if you consider that the grades were standardized to mathematics as a subject, then you can only imagine what was in those papers. I used to lead this lot in some exams, and I even remember I led in the mock exams with a grade C-, but I think I was so consumed with grief and I lost it completely in the final exam. I will never forget seeing myself in an exam room where everybody was totally defeated by mathematics. I literally saw some of my classmates who had bought new calculators, but they didn't touch them for 2.5 hours. This is failure that we had carried since Form 2 in the year 2005. To me, it hit me hard because I had joined the school with the highest marks and a very good track record in mathematics up to primary level. I had more questions than answers. I decided to change the narrative for myself. So when I went for the KCSE exam for the second time in the year 2008 and managed the grade C- by myself, I was already above everybody in my class. The rest had to be myself working to become the best version of myself, getting the grade C+ in 2015, the grade B+ in the year 2016, and the grade A in the year 2017. Will I be wrong to conclude that 80% of the mathematics environment of our country, Kenya, is composed of this environment that I've managed to rise over the years? May my work speak loudly to anyone who dreams big. I'm here to tell you, don't give up. I have endured pain and misunderstandings and so many no's for decades, but then I've kept on going. May this work speak loudly to the university-going students in my country, Kenya, and especially the boy child. I've been to the University of Nairobi and I saw many walking into campuses. Myself, I walked a lot for that 1-year period that I was there. I will never forget the route that I used the most going to University of Nairobi, from Biafra at the junction leading to Section C, then to Josta Supermarket. Take that left turn to Marimbi Street that leads to California, all the way past the shops where a lot of timber is sold, to the Pefa Church neighboring Koto headquarters, and into the section of the Gikomba Market heading to Kamkunji, OTC, River Road, Luthuli Avenue, Archives, Sarova Stanley, Kenyatta Avenue, Koinange Street, University Way, onto the underground channel leading to the graduation square, cross the noisy bridge and into Chiromo campus, and then at the Chiromo library at the farthest end. I did it. All I want to say is this: let your work count for something in your life beyond just pursuing degrees to rising into something that can make you valuable and unique. Find your why, something that can impact the world positively, that taps into who you are as a person, and go for it. May my work speak loudly to the educational environment of my country, Kenya, and especially the educational leadership. We can do better. I chose to rise after seeing what an uninspiring mathematics environment looks like. And I'm here to say that I am allergic to average efforts and mediocrity. The message in my work is clear. I am of the belief that the highest form of teaching is influence. We can never influence learners with average efforts. I am here to help set the standards higher. May my work open up avenues for creativity, innovation, and the pursuit of purpose, and to free ourselves from rigid thinking and to open ourselves up to new frontiers. I owe my journey to some of these positives in my life. The first one, my primary school, Mwakiki Primary School. It offered me a great mathematics foundation under the headship of Mr. Arnold Mwazuno, a very strong foundation that could not be broken by the challenges that I encountered at secondary level. The second one, Mwakitava Secondary School, for exposing me to Aga Khan and Oshal Academy through sports, ending up in me building my dreams around Aga Khan schools, and my fight to meet their teaching standards cemented my resolve to getting the grade A and thus unlocking my potential. The third one, Shimo Lateo Boys High School, for making the grade A in mathematics happen. The fourth one, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, for imposing a proper examination environment that made my grade A in mathematics undisputed. The fifth one, the Kenya National Examinations Council, for your cooperation and also for the upgrading program. It came at the right time in the year 2008 and is the reason as to why I managed to rise. The sixth one, the Teachers Service Commission for issuing me with the TSC number in the year 2013 against difficult odds. That was so redeeming for me. Last but not least, my family for their relentless support, and above all, the Creator for the gift of life and talents. May this work stir up people to pursue excellence in their various fields of endeavor. I will conclude with these two statements that are of great significance to sum up my work. The first one, these are words by actress Katharine Hepburn. She remarked, "If you obey all the rules, you will miss all the fun." The second one, these are words by inventor Charles Kettering. He said, "All human development, no matter what form it takes, must be outside the rules. Otherwise, we will never have anything new."